bullshit about that. It's like, it's not funny. It's like, it's not meant to be funny. I'm just an asshole.
It's a little funny. Oh man. Alrighty. Are you guys ready to start?
Hold on. Let me just get my leg up from underneath before I end up giving myself a haircut.
There you go. Good call. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yep. Got to do that smush myself into the chair kind of trick.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Whatever. We'll just do that. It's me whenever I play games with anybody.
Isaac crying, then kill.
Yep. Team kill, specifically.
Oh, team kill. That makes more sense. Video games.
I gotta make one more note of what I need to talk about at the end of the show. At the end of the show, at the end of my segment.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it here. Throw the gauntlet.
Oh no.
Full stop.
I don't like the sound of that.
We'll stop.
Chaos reign. And titles, because I always write titles wrong. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's hit this shit. Let's fucking pedal to the metal. Let's magnetize a car through a building.
There we go. Now you're talking. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Salut, ma familia.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Go support the show and get some cool exclusive and early access to shows. Got the exclusive Outcast over there, which is the uncensored pre-show stuff. We talk about all the other interesting things in our life. Definitely always interesting. Definitely never boring. It's actually really good. You should
Never
check
political at all.
No, never. Yeah, definitely not.
At one point, never.
Yeah, definitely not. You get early access to Critical Misses, our show where Moon and I go watch all the hits we've missed, and also We Roguelike It, the show where we play every roguelike in history for the rest of our days.
Do we want to drop the audible here, or do we want to leave that as a nice surprise for everybody?
I think we'll leave it as a surprise because I think it's not going to come out for like a month and a half, or like 3.5 months if you're not a subscriber. So, yeah, go check all that stuff out at patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, we've got 2 weeks now that we're sort of over our E3 hangover. We've got 2 weeks of games to talk about. I'm definitely not. I'm super burnt out. But let's talk about the last 2 weeks of things you've been playing.
Are we definitely holding ourselves to the 2 weeks? I'm looking at you, Nimp. I'm looking at you 100%. 2 weeks, not 6 weeks worth of
not a month
to talk about. 2 weeks, Nimp. Cross out 4 of those games, please. Thank you. Cross out 4 of those games.
Luckily, a lot of mine are just quick hits.
There you go.
Well, anyway, so I continued playing Outriders. This is the People Can Fly Square Enix Game Pass game for those who have already forgotten that this thing exists.
Yes.
Boston, kind of. I'm looking at you.
No, I remember they're putting out a patch next week or 2 weeks where they're significantly fixing and boosting the legendary drop rate, which seems like it's kind of a nice bonus.
It's great because when I loaded it, apparently I'm like 20% of the way through that game, basically, and everybody else who was playing it is already way at end game. It's like, cool, whatever. I'm just playing it when I want to.
Right.
This is going to be a strange reference for you guys. Did anybody watch the movie Tank Girl?
Yes.
A long time ago, yeah.
Do you remember the mutated kangaroos and their faces? How weird they looked?
Sure.
Every time I'm in a cutscene, the people in Outriders, their faces suck into themselves, and they have faces that look like those kangaroos from Tank Girl, and I'm just like, sure, why not? I'm just going to pretend
that sure is a choice.
Apocalyptic Tank Girl world.
All right.
It's very clearly a glitch because they start normal and then they go and get sucked in and to their faces, and it's just like
oxygen on the planet is real rough. Yep.
Yeah, somebody put some blood on a window in space. It was
Yep.
it was a whole ordeal.
That's how it always goes. Yeah.
I played a lot. Like I honestly played a lot of this with Rob because I just kind of want to get through to the end of the game because I haven't beaten enough games this year apparently, according to my own rules.
Right.
Don't laugh. It's true. I don't like buying new games when I haven't beaten games I've already played, says the guy who has a library the size of Manhattan to complete.
No comment. But also, you're still on this journey to kind of clear up the hard drive space, and Outriders is pretty big.
MLB The Show is on the list for next week for me to just try and get those 2 last achievements I can get in there. And then that gets migrated to the gonna keep playing it maybe hard drive.
Okay.
Question mark.
All right.
But yeah, I played a bunch with Rob, went through a whole bunch of the story. I'm back in. Weirdly enough, kind of like Anthem, I'm back in the storm again, if that makes any sense to anybody who's played the game.
Sure.
So it's really interesting to be like, this has got the same story progress as Anthem, where you're in a storm and then you leave the storm and then you go back to the storm.
But you don't have the cool flying mechanic.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of games I need to go back to.
While you still have the time.
Yes. While I still have no time at all.
Yeah.
I will say that, so like I still do like Outriders. I think it's fine. The storytelling is fine. The guns feel good. Like I'm mostly there for the shooting. I will say they leaned into the stupid, and I love it when places do lean into the stupid. Like it works out really nicely for everybody involved. And I'm just gonna straight up spoil this quest, which is in a village kind of thing.
Okay.
But you'll forget about it by the time you get to it, or you've already got to it. It's like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months old at this point.
Yeah, like you know whether or not you're gonna play Outriders at this point.
Yeah. So you get to this village, you meet this guy. This guy's in debt. You agree to help this guy settle his debt. The way you settle this guy's debt is the guy who he has the debt with, he plays Russian roulette to settle the debt with everybody.
Oh no.
Yeah.
However, he rigs the game so that he always wins and the person he has the debt with always loses.
Gotcha.
So it's basically pay your debt or die, essentially, is what it is. So, what's the name? The name? Altered. So, as an altered, you are essentially invincible.
Okay.
So you say to this guy, "Yeah, I'll help you sort out your debt." You go into this guy's hut. You sit down at the table. And you're like, "I'm here to deal with this dude's debt." And he's like, "Really? You're gonna play the game on his behalf?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play the game on his behalf. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to settle his debt." And he's like, "Okay, your loss." So he pulls out this big, huge, because the guns are huge, because it's a people can fly game.
Right.
So it's a big, huge hand cannon looking thing.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a pea shooter, but it's about like 6 feet long, and
yeah.
Puts the barrel to his own head, pulls the trigger, and click, nothing happens. Puts it on the table. So my altered lady, she picks it up, puts it to her head, bang, shoots herself in the face. And
Persona 3.
And then you get the blue energy thing, and she sits back up, picks up the gun, puts it across the desk, and goes, "There's only one bullet in it, right? Right? There's only one bullet. It's your turn now. Now you're going to pull the trigger, or I'm going to pull the trigger. You tell me what you want to do."
Right.
So the guy picks it up, puts it to his head, pulls the trigger, and bang, he kills himself, except he's not altered, so he's dead. And that's that quest done. It's just like so stupid and so great at the same time. It's like, yeah, why not? Sure. Outriders continues to be good. It looks beautiful still.
Yep.
And it's been so long since I did play it. There was patch notes when I loaded it up, and it was like, I think it was a gearbox, but it was like faster ability speeds, buffed ultimate abilities, no debuffs was just the patch notes.
Right.
And it's like,
2 thumbs up.
It's like, okay, congratulations. Like, you successfully threw shade at Gearbox. Not that that's difficult to do. It's almost like it's a magic trick.
Right. Oh.
I couldn't help myself, sorry.
Got him.
So, next game. Rain on Your Parade. Nimp, I know your children were playing this. Have they continued to play it?
Yes, and my daughter still goes back to the school level just to terrorize those children.
A real American for you there, folks. Was that a little dark? Maybe a little
A
too
little
dark?
bit, yeah.
Eh,
Not unfair.
we're watching her. She's fine.
Yeah.
For now. But yeah, the game is so stupid and so cute, and I love it. Like, it's blue sky gaming all the way down. When you beat the campaign mode, it kicks you back to the title screen, and it's got Rain on Your Parade, the You Beat the Game edition. So
Okay.
then New Game Plus is called the You Beat the Game edition.
Okay.
And then you literally load her up, and it gives you all of the abilities from the start, and it shows all of the hidden like missions that you have on levels,
Oh, okay.
and gives
Oh,
you progress stats on all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, okay, you really want to beat the game, you can go ahead and do that. Like,
interesting.
it's
Yeah, 'cause
a
there's quite a
real-
few of those levels that have hidden missions that I have no clue how you figure them out.
Yep.
And the only reason I know that we didn't hit it was because we got 2 stars instead of 3.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And it's got some of the dumbest achievements ever. Like, you get a tornado ability later in the game, and one of the achievements is to complete the beach level without raining on anybody. And the beach level, you have to make everybody go into the water. So literally
oh,
go in that level, you suck everybody up in this tornado, and then just like Katamari Damacy toss them into the water with this tornado.
that's great.
It's so stupid and so great. Like, they just added, with every new ability your cloud gets, they just added a whole bunch more different game types for you to play.
Mhm.
Like, here is a black hole, now go suck up everything in this level in this black hole that gets
Right.
bigger, and it's literally Katamari Damacy.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know how they did it, but I will continuously give them credit for adding in different types of levels over and over and over again, to the point where there is a tower defense level.
Okay. Okay.
There is an entire, like, Zelda, very quick Zelda-based RPG to play in one of the levels.
Oh wow.
And there is Breakout.
Nice.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Breakout you play by dropping snow onto a human, and they turn into a snowball human, and then you hit them with lightning, and it sends them shooting off into these blocks.
That's great.
It's so dumb. It has a fantastic last level, and it's a really, really stupidly fun game. Considering it's a Game Pass game as well, it's like, what have you got to lose? Go play it.
Yeah.
It's like 7 hours max,
Yeah.
like, to go through, and it's really great for kids.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about this, but I guess I have to now because I'm being
Oh, boy.
shamed into it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what you're saying. Uh-oh, for it's one of your games that you played too.
Oh, here we
You're
go. All right.
shamed into playing it.
Excited, man. Now, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's Destiny.
Yeah,
But-
it is.
Uh-huh.
Cross that off
So
my
I'm
list.
in a phase right now where if I don't know what I want to play, by default I'm loading up Destiny, and I don't like that.
Yes.
That's the problem. Like I did my laundry yesterday. I put my laundry in. Like, I've got an hour, so I'm gonna put my food in the oven to cook some of my food. That's 30 minutes, so it's like 60-minute timer for my laundry, 30-minute timer for my food to finish cooking. I've already done the dishes. What am I gonna do? I'll play Destiny. What's the problem here? Like, what has become of me?
The siren song is pulling you over to your Xbox.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hate you so much, by the way.
Say, you poor fool.
But you did.
It's even better because, like, literally 2 days ago, I took part in the raid night with these idiots.
Yep. We Moon joined us the semi-serious Friday night raid group for Vault of Glass. That was a good time.
Uh-huh. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool part about our group is we didn't finish the raid again. We've run it 4 times. We finished it once, and that's okay because like we all have stuff going on. We only have like X amount of time to do it every week. We only run once a week. I mean, this was probably the longest we've run in a really long time. We usually try and do only 2 or 3 hours. So like if we do it, cool. If we don't, that's all right. We got some cool loot. That's fine.
Yeah, but you didn't get me the secret chest in the Gorgon's lair, did you? No, you didn't.
No, thank you. We can do that next week if you want.
Did that patch go through about how they tell you who got spotted by the Gorgons?
No, that was a joke because you used to do that in Destiny 1, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
do that
I
in
know.
Destiny 2.
That's what I was saying. God, I wish they'd bring that back.
Yep. Hey, it was this guy. It's like, man.
And then you'd spend like 5-10 minutes yelling at them to pay attention. Like, we were. It's like, you're the only one who's been caught by this thing.
Usually for our group, it's as soon as you hear that noise, someone's like, that was me. That's me. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Yeah.
That's me. It's like, okay. Do it again.
Yeah. But no, it was fine. It was fun.
It's a good raid.
I am literally hit the point where I am on that gear grind. Like, I'm at that point now. Like,
Yeah.
no ifs and or buts about it. I'm on the gear grind. And the worst thing is, I'm also on the seasonal pass challenge grind.
Mhm.
And I can't do the seasonal pass challenges because I haven't done any of the seasons before this because I need to go to Tangled Shore, but then I need to do the missions at the Tangled Shore to unlock the Tangled Shore so I can do the bounties on Tangled Shore.
Yeah, next
And
time Moon and I are playing, it's essentially us like speed running through the 2 campaigns he hasn't done in like an hour.
Uh-huh.
Just to like unlock all these locations.
Yeah, it's really, really frustrating to be honest. But on the flip side, I'm literally loading up the app right now because that's how much of a weeb I have become.
One of us. One of us.
Sure. I'm currently 1300.
Nice.
And I know I don't have my most powerful gear on me, so I'm probably actually 13.2, 13.1 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But progress is being made, and I hate you so much.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to me? I used to be a good, respectable gamer.
You used to be an upstanding citizen, then you got bit by the Destiny bug.
No, I got bit by the plane with my friend's bug is the problem.
There it is. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about paracausality, and we just completely lost you.
I literally don't even know what that is.
You're safer now. Someday.
Oh, I'm scared. Like, I'm legitimately scared.
Yep.
This sounds like I'm about to start selling vodka in glass skulls or something like that.
Oh, that'd be great.
This is all explained in the Destiny Wikipedia. All you have to do is just start reading.
No. Dude, I'm down to Star Wars Wikipedia at the moment. I don't need none of that stuff.
And then you can start getting back into the lore cards that you missed out on.
There you go.
No. I'm more interested in the hyperspace wars. Thank you very much.
There you go.
But yes, actually, anything you want to talk about Destiny, Boston, before I move on?
The only thing I think is really interesting this season is we've talked a lot about the last couple seasons with Bungie really improving the storytelling and character interactions and stuff like that. And I think it's really interesting that while we have Lakshmi 2 returning to the game, the leader of the future war cult, and being humanity's greatest monster, and like a super racist.
Lakshmi Trump is what you're saying.
Yeah, she's way worse than she used to be. It's incredible. We at the same time have Saint 14, who doesn't like the Fallen in the game, really taking character strides to try to patch up some sort of fuzzy history that he has with some of these other races. And I'd like seeing him continue to improve and continue to have some cool character growth and some character interactions instead of him just being like, I'm the guy who punches, do. You know, like
his cutscene with Mirakai or whatever the head splicer's name.
Mithrax, yeah.
Yeah, his cutscene with Mithrax was incredible. Where it's like,
so cool.
These monsters, like, let me tell you about our monsters.
Yeah, it's like you get to see how our enemies view Guardians. It's like, yeah, all right, that's terrifying. Like that's That's horrifying. My God.
Yeah, like our
That was
monster was
cool.
called the Saint. And it's like,
Yeah.
So that come on, but really nice like way of showing it.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's we're sort of I think we have like 2 or 3 more weeks until the story wraps up for this season, but there's some cool stuff happening, and Bungie continues to make really great strides towards getting the in-game story where it needed to be, because before it was always like, oh, go read the lore, and it's like, yes, that's supplemental stuff, but you need to have stuff inside the video game we're playing. And I feel like we're finally at that level of like, just go play the game. That's where story is.
It only took them 2 games and 10 years to explain the Stranger.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah.
Well, that would be the thing too, because they would introduce like new characters, like Saint 14. They would introduce him, and yeah, he would look cool, but it's like, all right, he's just a dude that's here who everyone seems to think is really powerful, but you don't ever see or hear him do anything.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
Well, and now like he's coming back season after season, so like this season deals a lot with Osiris, and Osiris and Saint 14 are a romantic item. So like there's a lot of back and forth between how they're dealing with each other because of their differing opinions on what's going on with the refugees. So it's interesting to see them coming back season after season. It's not just like, well, Osiris came back for this cool season and we'll never see him again. Bye. Like that was the stuff that was always frustrating. So Destiny 2 continues to be cool.
Actually, I got one more question too.
Sure.
Do they ever go into Xur's background? Is he even still in the game?
He is still in the game.
Okay.
Not really. Because
like,
he's... Go ahead.
It doesn't need to be a deep dive, but I would love to at least know something about, just because he looked like a cool character, and it's like, where does this RE4 shopkeeper get all these legendary god weapons from?
Yeah, he's largely a I don't. This is the one part of the lore that I'm not 100% up on. So like, he works for a shadowy group called the Nine, and he's like he's kind of like their mouthpiece, because they can't speak for themselves. I don't really know who the Nine is, but that's like as deep as his whole thing is like, you don't need to worry about me. How about you take some cool stuff? Don't ask questions. I got cool stuff.
I will happily take Xur in his current form rather than get a midichlorians conversation.
Yeah, 100%. Like, leave some element of mystery there.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't need to see, this is where he was born and these were his parents. But yeah,
like
back
in AD 1325, it's just
like, you have the Nine, who is like this group of something that was brought up in Destiny 1 that was just kind of thrown out there, and then nothing's ever come of it.
Yeah, they tease them every couple of seasons. There's a little bit more story about the Nine, but I that's like a blind spot for me in the lore. So
you're okay, because when Destiny gets its movie deal, Disney and Marvel start making the Destiny movies,
exactly,
and then they'll be like the Eternals, where it'll be like, yeah, we stood by and watched as half of your population of the entire known universe vanished, but now we're going to take part.
Right,
and that's not me trying to crap on Destiny at all, because they have come a long way since the last time I've played. But there's still so many gaps that were from the original release of 1 and 2 that I'm still surprised that they haven't even really touched.
Yeah, and I think at some point they made not like an outward decision, but it feels very much internally, where they're like, okay, we have explained as much as we want to about X, Y, and Z. We're going to kind of leave that stuff in the dust and leave those things to be kind of mysteries. We're going to keep moving forward with this really overarching story, because what they're building is, starting with Beyond Light, they're starting this multi-year overarching story that continues with the next 2 expansions that finishes the Darkness versus Light storyline that's been going on since Destiny 1 started. So I think they're really focused on, let's finish something storyline-wise, and then we can worry about sort of the next steps.
I do hope whenever they do eventually do it, that it's awesome and not just kind of a wet fart.
I feel better about it these last couple seasons because they are like building season over season to something. Then they'll have this like big lead up to an expansion that'll take a huge jump in the story. Then they'll build it season over season. So it seems like they have the formula and like the blueprint down. They just need to keep doing what they're doing and kind of like keep this quality level.
Yeah, and maybe, put some more guides and tutorials in the game for people who don't understand how to do stuff.
100%.
Like, the fact that I had to teach myself how to use the Splicer's glove is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so much of it is like, well, it's the same thing as the last couple seasons. And you're like, yeah, I didn't play those, so can I get some explanation other than like, do this thing and it'll complete a quest? It's like, yeah, I don't know how to.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks to you idiots and your stupid semi-serious raids, now I'm hunting for weapons that I have missed in the 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6 years since I played this game. So,
but the cool part about that is like there's a whole bunch of like quest lines and quest chains that you can go do for exotics, and the majority of them are very solid. So if you're just sort of like, I don't want to do these seasonal challenges, I don't want to do any weekly stuff, I'll work on this exotic, rocket launcher. We'll do that.
Ooh, the bounty's reset already today. That's good. That means I can get more enchantment cores, so I can get more enchantment prisms, and then trade in those enchantment prisms for the exotic that I'm eyeballing in the store.
You're already lost in the rabbit hole, and you don't even know it.
Love it.
Oh, I know. I almost Googled how do I get more enchantment cores like this morning. I was like, nope. Can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't.
So good.
And for any fans of the Mummy, if you are interested, you should totally play Destiny 2 because Oded Fahir is the voice actor for Osiris. Mm-hmm. And until Boston pointed it out, I did not know it was him. It's the Egyptian fellow with the tattoos on his face from the Mummy. The one who's always talking about how O'Connell, it's destiny that you are here. You were destined to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was him until Boston pointed it out, and then now like Ed is every sentence he says one or two words. It's like, there you are.
It's him. Yep, there it is.
There you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, Destiny is good, and I should stop playing it.
Destiny's good, and one little piece of your heart comes off every time you say that. It's just like 1 year of your life comes off.
But if I keep playing Destiny, then my heart will go away entirely, and then I can go play Kingdom Hearts to get my heart back again. So
perfect. Full circle.
It's the perfect cycle.
Yep.
My last game this week is Risk of Rain.
The first one?
Yes, the first one, the non-lying version, which is the Xbox version.
Perfect.
Go listen to We Rogue Like It if you want to get that reference, folks.
Yeah, you can listen to our series on Risk of Rain and find out how the PC version lied to Moon.
A lot. So yeah, I didn't know what to play, and it was like, I'm going to play Destiny. No, I'm not. I'm going to play Risk of Rain because it's installed on my internal hard drive, which means it needs to get beaten so it can get bumped on out of there.
Right.
Like a curling stone. It goes down to the hard drive. It stays installed on the hard drive at the bottom, right near the circle. And then once I've got all the achievements in it, then I send a different curling stone down to bump it out of its place and take up that hard drive space.
Yep.
I never thought I would liken curling to video games and hard drives, but there we go. Somehow we got there.
Here we are.
But yeah, so I played Risk of Rain. We did one run with the bandit and got a full clear with the bandit.
Nice.
I also managed to bank 20,000 gold. I managed to collect 4 key cards, so I unlocked a whole bunch more stuff.
Oh, perfect.
And that's 2 more achievements ticked off of that one, which, fun fact, all the Risk of Rain achievements are diamond achievements.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nobody's been playing that game.
Everybody bought it, nobody played it is the problem.
Yep.
But yeah, now it's like the 15 Monster Logs ones. As this now at the point where it is the Xbox One hasn't stated as much, but the PC version very clearly stated you do not get Monster Logs for playing it on Drizzle. You only get it for playing it on Standard.
Oh, okay.
Which was a lie because you did get Monster Logs for playing it on Drizzle. You just
more lies. Yes, jeez.
Huh? Now the Xbox hasn't lied to me yet. but I just want to double check if I can get monster logs on drizzle mode or if I have to play it on standard mode for that, because
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm only playing it on drizzle so far, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, Risk continues to be an incredible game.
Just a ripping soundtrack too. Man.
It has. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, and to be honest, you can do a run as quick or as slow as you want to.
Yep.
Also important, you will not find these drops on the drizzle difficulty, so you must play on either rainstorm or monsoon for them to get them to show up. Thank you, True Achievements.
Curses. Okay.
That's fine, dude.
As long as you don't play the highest difficulty is really rough, but the middle difficulty is pretty okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's fine. I'll do a couple of runs on normal difficulty and probably get them eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Risk of Rain is fantastic, and I hate how good this game is. I hate how right you were about this game, Boston.
And you came into the show with a lot of hate.
Yeah,
it's mostly to me, which is fair.
Yeah, it is mostly to you, but at the same time, it's also I've been listening to a lot of Star Wars stuff, which has its issues at the best of times.
Right.
And both positive and negative. So I'm very curious if you are the Yoda to my Qui-Gon, where you're the nice, friendly one, and I'm the one who's in the middle but disagrees with everything you say, essentially.
I was gonna say I'm not sure if that's good or not, but I would be okay with that.
You can be the love child of Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy.
I take it back. I'm not okay with
Literally what George Lucas called Yoda, by the way.
Yep.
Good job, Lucas.
Uh-huh. Way to ruin one of your best creations.
Yeah. But yeah, Risk of Rain is so good. It's
really good.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have a super... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can get 1 and 2 usually on sale for like $15. Like, I'm pretty sure I paid $12 for 1 and 2 pack on the Xbox. And spoiler alert, it runs like smooth grease on the Series X. I almost swore then. I almost said like hot blank instead.
Right.
Does it run like smooth butter on your freshly popped popcorn?
Yeah,
yes,
there you go.
Get away from all that crap. But no, it's fantastic, and it's dumb, and it's fun, and it's stupid. And speaking of lore, like needing lore, like that's kind of an interesting game for complete lack of lore.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fun. It's a 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em up with that has runs and roguelikes. So yeah, sure, whatever.
It's spoiler
alert, I like roguelikes.
Shock of all shocks.
Yes, we did also play a whole bunch of Coffee Talk and Descenders this week. So check out Game Club, which should be coming out soon. And if you're Patronus, then you will be getting Descenders soon-ish.
This week.
In X number of weeks.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll be playing. However, before I toss the ball over to Nymph,
yes,
I'm going to throw the gauntlet at the audience.
Okay.
So this is very much inspired by Rob. Hi, Rob. I hope you're listening to this, and I hope you enjoyed what you brung out in me, you giant a-hole. So coming out next week is a certain little game that we have on our show notes, which is coming out soon. And there may or may not have been a secret agreement, not so secret
backroom deals,
between myself and the normal Friday Night Boys to pick up this game as a group. However, there's only anywhere between 3 to 5 of us on any given week. So, if you've listened to this show and you're like, oh, Moon thinks he's so good at video games. Moon thinks he's so fantastic. Look at all these easy achievement games he plays. Oh, Moon is so great. If you think you are man enough to rescue the girl, then you join us in the dumb game Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, which will be a true test of skill because it's a whole bunch of mini games essentially, and see if you're man enough to join us and beat me in video games.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I'm going to push Rob, and T, I love you. You're going to be last. It's going to be me and Rob the whole way.
I like this real
Figuring
talk
out.
you're having.
But join us. Like, all jokes aside, it's a laugh.
Join us in the
Genuinely speaking,
TVGP Olympic Games.
Yes, it's a laugh. It's stupid. It's fun. We are, to steal Boston's phrase, semi-serious Olympians, which
That's
is
right.
about as
That's right.
counterintuitive as you can get. And just join us. Beat me. Walk away with that, that accolade for yourself. Even if nobody else knows who I am, you know you beat me, and that's the most important thing.
Right.
So yeah, bring it on, punks. Friday nights, about 9-10 Eastern. Bring it on.
Is that on Game Pass?
No, it's not. 100%
Oh boy.
not.
You guys are going all in then.
Because we want a good multiplayer game that's like, don't get me wrong, like Deep Rock is fantastic and Dead by Daylight is great, but this is something that's, I think it's only $40. Like, it's going to be cheap, it's going to be dumb, it's going to be stupid. It's probably going to be broken, and we're just going to lean all the way into the stupid on it and have a good time kind of thing.
Right.
Because it's $25 to go to the movies just for ticket alone, so it's probably about $50 to go to the movies, all included. It's like, okay, I'll pay that for like even a month worth of stupid Olympics.
Right.
That'll be fine. So yeah, bring it on, punks. Join me. Join us.
In the Olympic Games.
Yes. Feel free to send me a message if you're nervous about jumping into the party. I never do it either, so that's fine. Just send me a message. I'll invite you in.
Yeah.
Come on down Friday nights. Enjoy the cross-coastal Olympic Games.
Ooh, there you go. I like that.
You got a name for it and everything. Where did
Yeah.
you go?
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Nimp?
Well, I can't really follow that up. I don't have a challenge for anybody. So, the first game that I played, MechWarrior Mercenaries 5. This was on Game Pass on the Xbox. I enjoy the BattleTech and MechWarrior games until I don't.
This is the action-based one, isn't it?
This is not the tactical.
Oh, okay.
One.
I may or may not have looked at this and been like, should I install it? Nope.
Yeah, no. It is super fun. I enjoy the fact that it's basically set. If you ever played BattleTech, the strategy tactical game, in between your missions, you have a whole thing where you have to repair your mechs, help heal your pilots if they were injured. Meanwhile, you're trying to earn money so that way you can upkeep your ship and business costs and all that fun stuff. So the first mission you do, obviously stuff goes sideways because I don't think I've ever played one of these games where the first mission's like, oh, hey, we're going to go out here in this field and see what happens.
Right.
Usually everyone's dead but you. And your stuff is all jacked up, which is what happens in this game. Your father ends up getting killed. No, this is an American game, not a JRPG.
I'm just checking.
So basically, so far, you feel your father has been killed. There's possibly a work around it because you don't see a body, so whatever. But your mech is heavily damaged. First thing it does when it pulls you into the ship is you have to go through and repair that mech, and it gives you like a mechanic's receipt of, hey, this is what needs to be fixed on your mech. You need to replace like armor C13, armor C12, armor, and it just goes and gives you like a receipt of every single piece and component that you have to replace on your mech.
Okay.
All right, cool. I can get into this. And then it puts you on like this light mech is what they call them, basically like the smaller mechs. And you have to start doing missions. And there's different missions, like there's an assassination mission. There's basically a like a skirmish where you're showing up and you're either defending a location or you're attacking a location. And then there's like with the assassination one, it's you have a specific target that you're looking for on this map. You go take care of them and then you pull out. That's most of the missions right there. There's like some small variance between it, but it's basically you landing in an area, you're blowing crap up while trying not to get blown up, and then you leave, and then you collect your money and you repair your mech and you move on to the next mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point now where I have my mech and 3 other pilots and 3 other mechs, so I've got 4 of us dropping down into one spot and raising all kinds of havoc, which is great. Until it's not, like I said earlier, because I don't know what it is about these games, but they have random difficulty spikes that are broken in this game. Each mission that you go on, you have a tonnage limit that's based on the rank of the mission that you're taking. So like if you do a rank 1 mission, you can only drop down, I think it was like 100 tons of mech. So between all 4 of you, you know, you have to spread that 100 out between the 4 of you, or you can just drop down with 1 mech that equals up to 100 tons.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's okay, but it kind of sucks once you get into the higher missions, because you start getting to these missions where you have a higher tonnage that you can bring, but you can't necessarily bring like an Atlas, which is an assault type, which is one of the heavier mechs.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring like one of those, and then you have to bring like 3 light mechs.
Oh, okay.
And that's about all you can do. It sucks in that the game, with the difficulty, you'll get enemies that will all of a sudden go from barely being able to hit you to like they're blowing off your arm, they're blowing your legs apart. All of a sudden your pilot's taking damage because they're just dead shotting you as soon as you come over a hill.
Right.
You also have the issue where it will spawn in enemy mechs like right next to you for no reason.
Oh.
So you go from clearing an area to all of a sudden you've got like an Atlas standing next to you, and it just starts tearing you apart. So looked it up online because I was like, all right, I'm probably not doing something right, because I never pay attention to what the game tells you half the time anyway. I'm just there to pilot a mech and blow something up.
Right.
So I go online and look this up, and everyone's like, no, this is a known issue with these games where eventually you'll hit a wall and there's just nothing you can do about it. You can try and prepare, but if the game doesn't want you to go any further, that's where you're at.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of people just say, hey, just don't take like skirmish missions, because those are the ones where the enemy mechs will randomly spawn next to you. It's like, just stick to like assassins or one of the other ones, which is fine. They're all fun, but that just kind of sucks that you're limited by the tonnage that you can bring to certain missions, and just the imbalance of the AI, where they go from being dumb as a rock to all of a sudden being ace pilots in a mech.
Right.
There's like no in between.
Right.
I will say though, anyone who starts this, it takes a little bit getting used to, because your legs and your torso are independent of each other.
Right.
So you can be, to keep it simple, we'll keep with the cardinal directions here. Your legs can be running north and your torso can be looking west.
Right.
And you can really once you get used to it, there's like indicators and stuff that you can see that lets you know, okay, I need to turn my torso or legs this way to line everything back up. On the controller, if you hit Y, sometimes it's supposed to rotate everything so that it's centered. Doesn't work all the time. But that's really cool. But I have found myself where it's like I'm running forward, and next thing you know, I'm running into the side of a mountain. I'm being shot at. I'm trying to figure out which direction I'm supposed to be going, so I'm not running into the mountain anymore. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's got that Elite Dangerous kind of hardcore feel to it, where it's like all I'm missing is like that thing, like the whole like cockpit controller set with all the dongles and stuff on it. That's all I need for this game.
Right.
But yeah,
it's that I think it was a front mission or was an Armored Core, that original Xbox controller.
Well,
where it was like,
that one was actually
buttons.
Oh no, that was
the name of it. It was like Grey Wolf or something. I can't remember.
No, I think that was the sequel. But yeah, that was that original Xbox game that had that giant controller, and I will not remember the name.
Because it came with a binder-thick instruction manual on how to pilot
Steel
a mech.
Battalion.
Yes,
Steel Battalion, there it is.
I wanted that so bad.
Me too. Good news is you can get it on
Is it still
eBay
like
for
150?
$40.
Nope, screw that.
Yeah, such
And
a cool
apparently there's two.
controller.
Well, yeah, and apparently there's two different lighting controllers. There's a blue one and a green one, and I think the green one was the common one, and the blue one was the more rare one.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I liked that game because it was the simple fact of you have a startup sequence, and if you don't do your startup sequence right, your mech will stall out. So then you have to redo the startup sequence. I always thought that concept was so cool. And if I had money when I was a kid, I would have bought that, but I don't. And as an adult, I don't want to spend $400.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for MechWarrior 5. It's still fun. I'm still gonna play more of it. I just got to be a lot more choosy on what missions I'm taking, because it does seem like if I take a certain mission, I can't beat it no matter what I do, no matter how I've got my mech set up and all that stuff. And then there's other ones where it's like I show up and it's like, okay, that wasn't hard at all.
Like one shot everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from MechWarrior, my son and I played a lot of No Man's Sky. This was back when they were. Yeah, I know. This was back when they were still doing the Normandy expansion, or not expansion, expedition. Yeah. I helped him out with that. He got all the way to the point that he just needed to reach rendezvous point 5, but he ran out of like hypercores and stuff to be able to get there.
Oh, right.
And I had told him, like, wait a minute, let me boot up my game because I think I'm still in that system. I don't think I left it. And sure enough, I'm still floating above the planet. I'm like, all right, yeah, just jump into my game, and then it's right here, and then you can just do it. So with 3 hours left on the expedition, my son got the Normandy, and I was out there messing around with them. And I've got the surround sound out in the living room, and I was like, man, crank up the volume, and we'll just listen to it because the soundtrack's going to get real hot real fast.
Yep.
And my wife is in our bedroom and she's like, what is going on? What is all this rumbling noise? It's like, don't worry, we're bonding. It's fine.
That's right.
But from there, once he got the Normandy, we jumped back into our regular save files, which just has me putzing around the galaxy with him still shooting up random pirates and anything that flies in the sky. Which I am now hostile to the machine life forms, Corvex.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
The AI life forms. Apparently I am all the way hostile with them because my son has a happy trigger finger. So I still don't understand why that impacts me. Because I'm not shooting anybody. So.
He was with that other guy. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, exactly. And we're at the point now where it's like we haven't come across anything that's been a real threat to us in our ships.
Right.
Outside of the ship, it's a completely different thing.
But as soon as you get those like walker sentinels, it's like we need to go now. We have to leave.
Like, it's us in like this little shack that we built real quick so we can break line of sight to have their alert counter go down. But yeah, even with those, like in our ships, when they get the space vessels for those observers, like we had them all the way up. I think it's alert 5 that they can get up to now.
Yeah.
No problem. We just shoot them out of the sky. No issue.
Right.
But as soon as we hop out of that thing, it's a horror story, man.
Yeah, it's real rough.
Yeah. After that, Ryza 2.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone through and I've beaten this finally.
Hey.
Ryza 2 is like there's some credit card like simulation game.
It's always Ryza 2, the Secret Fairy, and I don't know.
Okay, it's one of those games.
Yeah.
The Angry Alchemist, the Half-Blood Alchemist, who knows?
So I got to what's considered to be the second brick wall in the game, and that completely wiped me. I didn't even have a chance. They were breaking my armor. Well, when they break your armor in battle, it basically just puts your characters in a confused state for a couple rounds before they can do anything again. So they broke my armor their first shot, and then I'm sitting there waiting to be able to do something, and they just completely wipe out my party. Like, wow, this is a nice turn of events. So I go back through, and one of the things you can do in the game is you can rebuild anything that you have made in the game, which basically means you can increase its stats or effectiveness depending on what it is. So I go back, rebuild armor all the way from tier 1 up to tier 4, grab all the extra boosts and all this stuff, and then I replicate or duplicate that, give it to all of my main party. Then I go through and do the same thing for the for the weapons, where I go through, make it from tier 1 to tier 4, get all the bonuses for that. I go through my items that I use in battle, make it so that they heal better, they help prevent with breaking and stuff like that. Probably spent like a good 10 hours doing this.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Went back to that battle and just walked all over them like it wasn't even a thing anymore.
That's awesome.
I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm expecting, because of my past history with the first game, that the final boss is going to be the next wall that I have to overcome.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'll do the same thing I did with the last one, where it's like I will challenge the final boss and I will just see what I have to do. You know, what I have to improve on, what'll help me out in the long run. I walk up to that boss, and a half hour later, I beat that boss. And
jeez.
It wasn't... It was difficult, but it wasn't terribly difficult. It was a good challenge, basically. Right. But I had pretty much buffed myself up to the point that its attacks were doing okay damage, but I had enough stuff built up for healing that I was like, all right, every time it's their turn, they automatically heal a certain amount. I have my items set up so that they regen health as well as giving you health, and they buff your attack and defense and your speed and all this other crap. So after a while, it was like I was getting like 3 or 4 turns before the boss would even come up, and then it would hit me for like 29 damage. It's like, all
That's
right,
awesome.
I got that.
I like that in most JRPGs, the tables will be turned on that, where it's like, oh, the boss gets 4 turns, you're only hitting it for 10, it has 10,000 health, you just gotta fight the fight. It's a real marathon. It's like, no man, this time I'm the boss. Let's do it.
Well, and I think that's kind of what I like about this game is you can, just by how you create and rebuild your items and stuff, you can kind of, the game has a difficulty setting. So you can do it easy, normal, hard, legendary, chaotic, all that fun crap. But you can give yourself that extra challenge of, okay, yeah, this is the final boss, but I'm going to use my tier 3 weapons instead of my tier 5 weapons. You know, stuff like that to make it more challenging. Or you can just utterly break the game and make yourself a god.
Yeah.
Like, literally, there's videos that I was watching online where people are playing this on the hardest difficulty with, you know, these are the armor sets that we're using, these are the accessories, these are the weapons, and like the boss is doing like straight 20,000 damage to each character, and the characters are just like, whatever, and then they just turn back and do like 20,000 damage to the boss, and it's like this weird back and forth that I will never put the time in to break the game like that. There's only one series that I do that with, and it's coming out in a week. So.
Right.
So Ryza 2, really good. I would suggest anyone who ever wants to play this, start with the first Ryza game.
Yeah, it's very accessible.
Yeah, very lighthearted. There's a lot of systems that you can't... Like, I wasn't even using most of the systems in the game, so it's going to throw a lot of stuff at you. There's some of it that you have to dabble with.
Wait, a JRPG will throw a lot of stuff at you?
Yeah, it's unprecedented.
Shocking.
This is even more than your average JRPG, because there's stuff with like the item crystal that you can unlock it and give it so that it has certain like elemental stats and stuff like that, so it makes items of that elemental work better or worse or whatever. It's a whole thing, man.
Explain it's more complicated than a JRPG because you're playing it, which means it's above your standard JRPG level.
Yeah.
You are the JRPG nerd, so like I thought Boston was bad. You're worse.
Yeah.
When it comes to you playing something, that's pro level JRPG, which means I ain't playing it.
Yeah.
I just like to see those numbers go up, man.
Right. I like alchemy. What can I say?
That's why they're in every game.
Well, and that's the thing, because you get like a certain amount of SP points that you get to use in your alchemy tree, right? I had my alchemic tree mastered, like everything done before I even got to the end boss, and I'm still making stuff, and I currently have like 300,000 SPs just sitting in my inventory that I can't spend it on anything because I've already unlocked everything in the tree.
Right.
So, yeah, too much, and I love it. So after beating Ryza, I was like, all right, cool. I want to beat another game that I know that I'm fairly close on. So I put in Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm.
Start playing this again. I'm still on the PS4 Pro.
Did the patch fix your issue?
No, not at all. This game is still broke.
Oh no.
And I'm actually kind of surprised that PlayStation's like, yeah, we'll bring it back on in the store. I think it's like at the end of June or July that they're going to bring it back in the store.
I thought it was this week.
Maybe it is.
I don't remember. But they were like, yeah, there might be some problems with it. It's like, okay.
No, anyone who's planning on buying this, even on PC, I would still say don't, because PC is still broken, and people
Right.
are still doing mods to fix their own games.
Right.
So at that point, don't even bother right now.
Yeah.
The issue that I found out that I'm running into was I'm in a mission called, I believe it's Play It Safe, which is a main story mission. The objective I'm at now in that is that I have to wait for a person to call me back, or I can continue on with other leads until they call me back. I've been on this mission, I don't know, since May, April, something like that, waiting for this person to call me back. And I've just been doing side missions, like whatever. I'll just
hang around.
Yeah, just keep doing
So,
random stuff. I have my
the
awesome.
campaign ghosted you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I have this awesome rifle that I can see through walls and shoot people through walls.
Right.
I'm good. So, but yeah, after a while of playing it, I was like, okay, what is going on with this mission? I have this weird glitch now where the person who's supposed to be calling me, anytime someone calls me, you get this little window that pops up in the top left of the screen, and that's supposed to be their image of you, talking back and forth or whatever. The guy that is supposed to be calling me is in that image with the person I am talking to at that time, and they're glitched in there. So I've got like both of them inside of each other in this stupid image thing.
Right.
I'm like, great. That probably means this is broke. So I do a little bit of research on the mission, and sure enough, yes, this particular mission is broke and has been broke since the game came out.
Right.
What is supposed to happen is once you receive this part of the mission, you're just supposed to wait 24 hours in game, and then they will contact you. You can either go do stuff for 24 hours in the game, or you can just just not fast travel, just speed up time basically for 24 hours, like you can in Fallout and Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. I do that. Nothing happens. I've obviously been doing side missions for days on end in this game. Nothing has happened. So I look up, okay, what can I do to maybe try to jumpstart this? Because there's a bunch of people between consoles and PC who have done other things besides just modding it to make it work. Mm-hmm. One of the suggestions was get yourself killed, reload the save, and that'll kickstart it.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So I run into this area that I'm hostile in, and I am so beefed up in this game that I had to sit there for over a minute while these people are just shooting me. I'm like throwing grenades at myself, trying to get it to go faster, and I forgot that I have the perk that prevents me from taking damage from my own grenades. So I'm like, well, whatever. I've got like 300 of these. It doesn't matter.
Right.
They finally kill me. Reload my game. Nothing happens. Still an issue. I'm like, all right, cool. What's something else that I can do? One of the other suggestions was go back to this hotel where you were last with this character, initiate a conversation, wait 24 hours, and if it doesn't enact then, jump 3 days, try it again.
Oh, geez.
Did that, and I jumped almost a calendar year and still got nothing. So I'm like, all right, so this isn't working. The last thing was people saying the only other thing you can do is you just have to start over again.
Oh, no big deal.
Apparently, there's no one has 100% identified what causes the issue, but it's basically the state that I have saved this game in since I started a new game had already determined that this mission was not going to work.
I see.
So I have to start a new basically state of the game and hope that that state isn't broken and then get to that mission and figure it out.
Right.
So I just ejected the disc, put it back on the case, and said, "Okay, I have beaten this game because it won't let me beat it."
I was gonna say that feels like the best choice for right now. It's like check in another year, see what when the next gen patch comes out. Maybe they'll do a huge bug fix. But
yeah, and this was, I want to say it was like a Monday. The following day, they released a new update. I think we're on like 1.22 or 1.23 now.
mm-hmm.
Downloaded that patch, and it was a bunch of mission fixes. So
Okay,
all right, cool. Let me give this a shot again. So I put the disc back in, go through, still busted. Dude's still up there in my call window. I rushed through a couple of days, still nothing happening. I'm like, all right, cool. This is still broke. Whatever. Pull the disc out. It's like, well, I guess this is done for right now.
yeah,
So that's my game with CyberPunk right now, and that's how
Nice.
I beat it.
There you go.
The game won't let me.
Congratulations.
The almighty off button.
Yeah.
The last game I will talk about, because I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games to talk about, so I'll save those for next week,
Okay.
is Slime Rancher.
Yeah.
Yay!
This is also
And I
on
was-
Game Pass.
Yeah, I know.
You want to talk about a blue sky game? Have both of you guys
Yeah.
played this, or
No, I haven't played
I-
it yet.
I'm like maybe 4 hours into it. It's on my hard drive, and it's like I should really play that someday because that game is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 25 hours into this game already.
Nice.
I just started it this week.
Yeah.
So, Slime Rancher is, you are a person that gets sent off to the far reaches of the galaxy, whatever, and your whole goal is that you are a rancher and you're ranching slimes.
Adorable
Mhm.
slimes.
Yes. Every slime they're all color coded. They all do different things. They all have different appetites or different diets that they enjoy. The pink ones are the first ones that you will run into. They will eat anything and everything.
Mm.
So your whole objective is you can do this a couple of different ways. I came into this game knowing absolutely nothing about this game, so it was a lot of me testing and experimenting and trying out different things. So the first thing I did was I built a corral. So I was like, all right, I'm eventually going to need this for something. I don't know what yet. Go out. There's a bunch of pink slimes everywhere. Vacuum them all up. Vacuum up a bunch of carrots. I'm like, all right, cool. Run back to my ranch. Dump all the slimes into the corral. Dump a bunch of carrots in there. The slimes start eating it, and I get like these little pink crystal things. I think they call them plorts or something like that.
Yep, which is slime poop.
Yeah.
Great.
So what you do with these plorts in the beginning is that you have this massive wall next to your ranch that is basically a market, and you just shoot those plorts into the plort receptacle, and it gives you back money based on what those are worth. And, all right, cool. So as I explore, I start to find, okay, there's these gray ones that are like cats. They're just little slime cats with slime ears and slime tails, and they eat meat. All right, so I find some chickens. I end up making a chicken coop, and now I have hundreds of chickens crammed in this little coop. None of this is PETA safe or PETA friendly. The way I've got my ranch set up.
You also forgot to mention how I don't know if you've done it yet, but have you tried to overload one of those cubes, and the slimes just start doing the Tower of Terror and doing the Starship Troopers bugs things and trying to climb out the top by piling on top of each other?
Yes and no. I did it with the Lagros, I think they're called, the bigger ones when they combine into something else. I didn't know that they could jump so high, and I only had like one level. So next thing you know, I have like a bunch of these giant pink slimes all over the place that I'm trying to put back in this corral, and then I realized that you can increase the level by 1 of how high it is, and then you can add like a sky catcher basically, where it prevents things from jumping out of them.
Yeah.
So
For the pink ones, they will just pile on top of each other until they like pyramid stand their way out of the containers. It's
wow.
cute.
It's kind of messed up in a weird way, but not as messed up as some of the other stuff I was doing with this, because like I said, I found a cat one. Basically, they eat chickens. I have all these chickens, and kind of the messed up thing is that when you suck it, basically you have like this vacuum thing that you're using. It sucks up stuff and it shoots it out. That's it. So I'm running around sucking up all these chickens. I've got them in my coop, and I have these tabby cat slime things that I have to feed. They only eat meat, any kind of meat, but I have these live chickens. So I'm like, all right, I'll just feed them these chickens. What happens when you feed them a chicken is that the chickens, when you shoot them out of your vacuum, they are facing you, and they have like these old god like eyes wide open look to them, and then a slime eats them.
Oh boy.
So I feel kind of terrible about that, but that has not
Yeah.
stopped me from feeding them chicken.
Right.
Eventually, at the state I'm in now, I've got like my whole ranch set up where I've got like an auto feeder where it's filled with whatever their favorite food is, because if you feed them their favorite food, they produce double the plorts instead of just giving you one. I have a auto plort collector, so I don't have to keep going in there to suck these things up to grab them. And like I said, I've got like a rooftop basically on all of them, on top of like all these gardens that I have, so that way I can keep getting the certain fruits and vegetables that these things like, so I can get double the production on them. I also unlocked a cave, so now I have all these glowing ones that I shoved in there, and they can't be out in the sunlight or else they pop.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they only come out at night. So I found them, figured out what they were, shoved them into this cave. That way I can get a bunch of their stuff, and I have their favorite fruit growing in there. So every time I walk in there, like the game slows down because there's so much movement and so much crap just everywhere in here that I'm sucking up that it kind of slows it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found out too that, hey, out in the wild, I am seeing there's like these mixtures of slimes where I'll find like this pink cat slime, or I'll find this pink flying slime, or this rock slime or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out how they're doing this. And when I was out in the wild trying to figure this out, it looked like one slime was eating another slime. So I'm like, okay, that seems messed up, but let me grab, I've got an extra, corral sitting here with nothing in it. Let me grab one type of this, one type of that, put them into a corral, and then just wait and see what happens. Nothing happened, and I did not feed them because I was assuming that they would just get hungry enough that they would eventually want to just eat the other one. No, they just look at you with you can tell if they're happy or sad by their facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're smiling if they're happy. You can tell if they're hungry if their tongue's basically sticking out of their mouth, and you can tell when they're mad when their little slanty eyes are pointed down and they're got the little furrowed brow going.
Right, they got the Kirby eyebrows.
Yeah. What I found out was it's not that they eat each other. If you feed a slime a plort, basically the poop, like Moon said, of another slime, they will eat that, and that is how you get them to crossbreed into two things.
Mm-hmm.
And then this will make it so that, like with the cat one, if I crossbreed that one with a pink one that eats everything, I don't have to feed the cat just meat anymore. I can give it anything now because it has the mix in with the pink one. So that was cool trying to figure it out. And there's just a bunch of experimenting that I've been doing with this game. I'm kind of at the point where I broke the marketing system, the economy in this game, because with all the ones that I have flying around in the cave, like I said, I get so much crap from them that I just kept pumping it into the market. And then I noticed that the value of those things have been going down. I'm like, oh, okay, this has a real economy in it.
Mm.
Looking it up, what I had found out is if you do 30 or more, it starts to drop down the value of that thing because you're flooding the market with these things.
Sure.
And the more you put in there, the more it impacts that. Doing more reading on how the economy works, it's basically plus or minus 49% to 160% on each individual plort. It'll randomize at midnight in game. Okay, it's going to go up or down that much. And then across the whole board, it does it again with the 49%, 60% plus or minus. So whatever the individual is set at, then when it does the whole board, it'll raise it or lower it again.
Oh, interesting.
And if you oversaturate the market on one of them, like I was obviously doing, all you have to do is wait a couple of days and it'll slowly start to come back up because there's more demand for it now.
Mm.
So, yeah, screwing up markets everywhere. But now I've got a lot of area that I've unlocked. I need to find one of these like giant slimes in the wild that you basically overfeed until they pop and then they drop random stuff, and they will drop you a slime key, like certain ones will. I need one more slime key to get into like this marsh area thing, which is the last area it looks like that I need to get into. But I already have like the science base set up that I can go in there and craft like these utilities or like these cosmetics or whatever. My base is already different colors. I've got all kinds of slimes everywhere that are just tearing stuff up. It's a really fun game.
Yo,
So
cute.
yeah, my daughter enjoys me watching it. She also enjoys feeding chickens to slime. Like I said, we are watching her. It is fine.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing. Besides the other games that I'll wait until next week for.
Okay. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to blow through some of these. Persona 5 Royal. I am finishing up the second palace on that. There's been kind of a large stretch of no new story content in the game. I did meet the new school counselor, which is the edition, one of the editions for this game. It's so far pretty fun. I know that his confidant rank is important to get the third semester of the game, so I should be starting to raise that up pretty quickly. But that continues to be great, but largely nothing to add there. It's just the second palace has largely been the same as it was in the regular game. Fortnite Season 7 started. There's not a lot new in this one. There's a bunch of alien weapons, but they're all kind of like the regular weapons.
I was gonna say, is this the Independence Day one?
Yeah, there's like a really massive UFO up in the sky above it's the size of the map floating above. You can pilot UFOs. There's a bunch of alien weapons. Like there isn't anything that's kind of fundamentally different like last season. It's just kind of it's kind of more Fortnite. The season pass is a little bit different, where you can kind of buy whatever you want, so you don't have to get stuff in the season pass that you don't like if you don't want, which is kind of a neat idea. But it's still largely the same so far. Griftlands. Talked about this
no.
2 weeks ago or so. Said, hey, Clay made it, and I forgot. Oh, right, that's the Invisible Ink guys, the team. Played a lot of Griftlands this week.
I have been getting harassed from a certain friend of the show to tell you that we should definitely be having this game in our roguelike list.
Yeah, you remember Signs of the Sojourner we played recently?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we wanted that game to be. It is a deck building roguelike, so don't run away if you're allergic to those. What's really interesting is you have two decks. You have a combat deck, which is when you and your team are fighting a team of enemies. It's fairly straightforward. You're doing debuffs, you're building combos to do more damage by cashing in those combos. You are drawing and discarding cards. That system is fairly straightforward. The other half of the game, though, is the negotiation deck. And that is, I have an argument that I'm trying to have with this person I'm talking to, and I have an entirely different set of cards that I use during that negotiation process. And it functions pretty similarly, but it uses a totally different set of systems, uses a totally different set of kind of buffs and debuffs and the values that you're building. And what's really interesting is you can't always beat every encounter by just talking or just fighting. Sometimes you can, where it's like, hey man, I don't want to kill you. I'm tired. I'm having a rough day. You're having a rough day too. Like, this is both a rough time for us. How about I have a negotiation conversation with you and just maybe tell you to kind of get to stepping. I don't want to kill you. If you succeed that conversation, they might just say like, yeah, I'm not getting paid well enough for this. I'm just going to leave. Bye. See you. I don't care what happens to these group of bandits. I was going to leave anyway. if you fail that conversation, they might attack you, or your only option might be to attack them, or you might just fail that quest because you couldn't talk them out of getting out of the way or giving you information or something like that. Or you might have to go do something much harder. But there are some encounters where you can't beat them by talking or fighting. So you might have to do one or the other, or in some instances, you can like buy them a drink at the bar to kind of debuff them in a conversation because they're drunk. So their conversational skill essentially goes down by like 20, so it's much easier to beat them. Or you can kind of talk to patrons in one of the bars to join your party to back you up to fight one of these other guys. Like there's a million different options you can use in all of these different instances that are... It's a really, really cool system that gives you so many options, and in an interesting roguelike way, you obviously aren't supposed to beat your first couple of runs. Like the first boss you fight destroys you the first run because you don't have a solid deck. You probably haven't done enough side quests by that point. But the next couple runs, you're taking a lot like Downwell. You're taking all that experience you have and you're filling up a bar afterwards that's unlocking more powerful cards for your deck that you can use in future runs. So, and you're sort of starting runs with more boons. You're earning, I don't even know what they call them, but essentially you can buy these perks and level up these perks that apply to your character at the very beginning of a run. So you're starting out stronger. It's the thing we like in roguelikes a lot, where it's like, all right, I failed this run, but I still leveled up. I still did a couple of cool things to level up my perks that I have applied to my character. So I didn't really... That run wasn't a waste of time because I still got all this stuff in the background. And now my next run is going to be way stronger because of this stuff that I did.
Yeah.
It's really cool. The writing is really solid. I'm glad I took a chance on this one because I saw like, oh, it's a card building roguelike, which is kind of hit and miss for me. But Clay has been making really great games, so I feel like, and it had like on PS Plus, it had a sale, like it's like 20% off for the first week or so. It's like, all right, it's less than $15. Let's just pick it up. I'll support them. If I like it, cool. If I don't, that's fine. And I have played a lot of it, so I'm really enjoying Griftland. If it sounds like that's something that you're interested in, check out some gameplay. Check out some stuff. It's a really cool, genuinely great surprise. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I keep running into this cool little rock dog that joins my party, and he's pretty cool, and he does a lot of damage, so can't go wrong with a cool rock dog.
Wait, rock is in made of rocks, or rocks
Yes.
is in metal as hell?
No, rocks is in made of rocks. He's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. His name is usually Fluffy, and it's great. Griftlands is great. It's super good. We already talked about Destiny 2. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I upgraded my PS4.
Final Fantasy VII Part 1 Remake Intergrade.
There you go. Yes. I upgraded my PS4 version to the PS5 version. So now I can do either 60 frames or 4K with ray tracing? Question mark? I don't know. I have it on 60 frames. So it's like 1440p to like variable resolution. Looks great. Runs great. I started the Intermission DLC, which is the Yuffie DLC. Thank you, Square, for having Yuffie pronounce her own name within the first 2 lines. Super appreciate that. That so far seems pretty good. It's pretty easy to tell where that slots into the kind of the storyline of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. I played maybe half an hour, and so you kind of finish the first big story beat. I've heard it's only about 3 hours, 5 hours if you kind of wring every piece of content out of that, which is great because I'm looking forward to just playing a couple of hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake and then not playing it anymore again because I don't want to go for that platinum because it sounds kind of miserable. But that game looks really great, and the 60 frames makes a huge difference. So I'll talk more about that in the future. I bought it, and I haven't felt like playing it yet, the DLC, other than a little bit of the intro. 2 demos I want to talk about real quickly. Number 1, Lake. There's a demo on... first off, I played the Sable demo. I got like literally 2 minutes into that and got pulled away. I like what I saw already. I'll just play the final version. I know it runs fine on my Series X. That's all I needed to see. I think it's coming to Game Pass. I'll just play it then. Lake. I played probably about 10 minutes of this demo and went, yes, that is exactly everything I was hoping that would be. I'm going to play the final version of that too. Lake looks super cool. It's a very slow-paced, chill mail delivery simulator in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, that... Okay. I was trying to remember which one it was. I was like, okay, that's...
Thumbs up. Looks cool. I also tried the Tunic demo, a game that I have been anticipating for what feels like 7 years at this point. That is also exactly what it has purported to be. It is a Zelda-like that has... A lot of people will say it's a Dark Souls Zelda game. The combat sort of feels like that, but it feels very much like that deliberate, like, if you're going to swing, the swing is going to finish, no matter what the enemy is going to do. The enemy's swing will finish, no matter what you do, so maybe you should use the lock-on and time your stuff correctly. I got a sword, I got a shield, I got some cool stuff. I played that for another 10 minutes. It's like, already sold 100%. This looks great. The music is great. It runs perfectly. I will just wait for the final version on that too. So I feel like that's the best part of any demo is I get about 10 minutes into it and it's like, yes, this is incredible. This is excellent. I don't want to play too much of this now because I want to play too much of it when it comes out. So I'll take a breather on both of those. My last game, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh no, I forgot we haven't talked about this yet on the show.
Yeah. As I talked about last week, I think they've patched it at this point, but if your HDR looks wrong, turn off 120 hertz on your PS5 and relaunch the game and that'll fix it. Because I've fired it up and I was like, this doesn't... I have this TV calibrated correctly at this point, and it looks good with everything else. This doesn't really look right, and that fixed it. This is a selling point to me, and if it isn't a selling point to naysayers out there, I don't want to hear it, like, enjoy video games. This is a Ratchet and Clank game. It does not reinvent the formula. It is the same thing that we have been playing for the last 8 games at this point. I don't even know. Yeah. It continues the story from the Ratchet and Clank that came out in 2016, whatever the PS4 one was. That was like the origin story retelling
the movie remake thing.
Yeah, the movie tie-in thing. It continues the story from the game before that. So, because that game was really just, hey, do you remember how we met? Oh yeah, 20 hours game. So it continues the Ratchet and Clank story. The big difference now is you play as 2 Lombaxes. You get to play as Ratchet or you get to play as Rivet. Rivet is cool as hell, voiced by Jennifer Hale. Sounding significantly different in a really great way. Both of them have robot buddies. The new robot buddy is really cool. I won't spoil anything about that robot because it is a really cool sequence. Ratchet is not with Clank, by the way, which is really fun. that robots have swapped. Man, time travel, dimensional hopping in this game actually works how it did in the demos and the videos, which is one of those moments where it's like, yeah, okay, right, SSDs. Yeah, cool. I have seen 7 different levels as we're hopping between dimensions in the intro, and there are literally no load times or hitches. These new consoles are incredible. And it's really wild to not have loading times between planets either, where you like hop in your ship, you pick a planet, you like fly into space, and immediately you're flying down to the next planet that looks completely differently. Like, just some real like dark magic wizardry in these new games. It's really great. There's 3 different graphical modes. I'm running at what I think is the best one, which is performance with ray tracing. It has 60 frames at 1440p with ray tracing. It looks incredible. The 4K has ray tracing in native 4K. That's at 30 frames. That doesn't feel great. It's fine. Like, if this game was just 30 frames all the time, that'd be fine. But 60 frames with ray tracing just it looks so good. Like,
Yeah.
And largely, it's been a Ratchet and Clank game. You have a whole bunch of really dumb weapons that you're leveling up by using them, and there's never enough ammo for all of them, so you're kind of getting to use all of them all the time, which is really great, and you're upgrading them with raritanium, like always. And the story so far has been really great. If anyone hasn't played any of the previous ones, it might come as a surprise that all of the Ratchet and Clank games have really good stories, and this is no exception. I wish there was more to talk about, but like, it's a Ratchet and Clank game, and it is as good as they have always been. I'm sort of excluding like Into the Nexus and the pirate one, because those were really like spin-off, like short side story things. But yeah, like it's as good as they have always been, and Clank has it's his own like little mini game thing, like he has for the last couple of games, and this one you're kind of affecting time in like into the what's that one PS3 one where you're like cloning yourself? I don't remember. But it's pretty similar to that, where you're kind of affecting time, and it's essentially Lemmings, which is really great. They were explaining.
I think that was actually Nexus.
Oh, that was maybe Nexus. Yeah, Nexus was a full game, if I remember. Yeah. Okay, I got my spin-offs confused. But yeah, they go through this whole thing, and it's just Lemmings. So like, you just have to get X number of these Clank sort of shadows into this thing, and once you do, you win. So that's been kind of fun.
I got one question for you.
Sure. Yes, please.
Are you far enough in to tell me yes or no? Is there a rhino weapon in this game?
So I'm fairly sure there is,
okay,
because the game, there's this one planet I've run into so far. Okay. This is like a super minor spoiler, so if you're like super careful about spoilers on this, maybe just skip to the next segment. This one planet you go through, you're picking up like these little Lombax lore, like audio logs that are from someone I don't know yet, hopping through dimensions to chart what's happening in those dimensions. And the great part is each one of those dimensions is an Insomniac game. So he's hopping into, it's like, there's like a raccoon with a cane, and he and his friends, like he's hanging out with a turtle, and they're doing crimes. And it's like, oh wait, that's right. They did. Okay. They made that one. Yeah, sure. So that's been really great. And the screen on that one, on those collectibles, says like, if you collect all of these audio logs, Mrs. Zircon, who runs the shop now, will make you an incredible weapon. It's like, oh, there it is. Okay.
God, I hope
There's
it's fine
Rhino.
up.
Rhino
Those
8
things
or
were always so
9.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was say the last one. It was basically it shot every type of ammunition type at once, all
Yep.
over the screen while playing the national anthem.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, so far my favorite weapon is the Topiary Sprinkler, where it turns enemies into topiaries, and then they just kind of stand there and take more damage. It's real good when you combine that with Mr. Zircon isn't in the game anymore.
I was gonna say that if Mrs. Zircon's running the shop, is there not a Mr. Zircon weapon anymore?
So Mr. Zircon is the one who narrates the previews of weapons, like the video previews, and he's super jazzed about his job. You have Mr. Fungus now, who does the same role. He's just this kind of cartoonish mushroom that follows you around and shoots your enemies. So combining that with the Topiary Sprinkler has been really strong so far.
What about a sheepinator or a duckinator?
Not yet. The most recent weapon that I unlocked was... God, I don't even remember what it's called. It's essentially that drill weapon from Turok 2 that, like, bores into enemies. You shoot this giant cartoonish drill that, like, bores into enemies and makes them explode. And I'm like, that's... okay, that's a bit more than Ratchet and Clank do, but okay. But yeah, everything in this game has been fantastic. I have no complaints and no criticisms about it at all. It is just an incredibly well-made Ratchet and Clank game that a lot of people are saying they're finishing it in about 10 to 15 hours. And that's not... What's that?
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I'm looking to do. I will mop up all the gold bolts and all these other secrets in the levels to get the platinum, probably, because there's no difficulty related ones. And just kind of, I'll probably get 100% in this game in 25, 30 hours and say like, yeah, perfect. That was great. This incredible, super fun, really tight Ratchet and Clank game that is not going to overstay its welcome. It's like, fantastic. That's literally all I can ask for out of a Ratchet and Clank game. So I'll be reporting in on that more next week because I'm hoping to put a lot more time into that this week. And also, Nefarious is back, which is really great. It's just
and his butler Lawrence.
His butler isn't there right now, but I'm feeling like he might come back. It's crazy to see how good Nefarious looks in, like, essentially 4K with ray tracing on his dome. Like it's real good. This game is really great.
Lawrence was always such a great counterpiece to Nefarious, just because Nefarious would always yell out like this random thing, and Lawrence, in just his sarcastic, serious tone of voice, be like, "Yes, that does sound like a good idea, sir," and then just walks away.
Well, my favorite part is that both Ratchet and Clank are tired of Nefarious now. So, like, Nefarious comes out, he's like, "I have my evil plan," and both Ratchet and Clank are like, "Oh my god." Like, while he's just spouting this thing off, let's just go do it. Like, let's just go punch him while he's spouting this whole thing off. And even Ratchet is like, "Yeah, I would like to," or Clank is even like, "I would not like to hear him talk anymore." It's like, great. Everybody's just tired of this dude. That's so good. But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yup.
Sweet. I'm gonna go check on my family real quick because they just got back home.
Sounds good. I'm glad I kept the second part of this episode short, because I thought this was what's gonna happen. Oh man. A Destiny emblem thing seems to have blown up while we're recording, and I'm like looking at the active users right now on deck, just going through the roof, and it's like, okay.
Someone from Destiny retweeted it.
Yeah, it's largely like it's like this system in the game where if you're not on the up and up, you can kind of share rare emblems between people. It's like a niche of a niche. And it seems like a super rare one that is hotly anticipated, is being shared between people like that. So people are hitting the Emblem Collector account up being like, how do we get this? Why did you update the site? And it's like, it's not out yet. I promise. I don't want to say like, go talk to this dude on eBay and spend $100 to get a temporary version of this. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It sucks. Man. All right, where are my show notes? There they are. I got them. Let's see if there's any last-minute news stories here while we're hanging out. It's 38 news stories, no big deal. Ratchet and Clank, yeah. Scarlet Nexus launches soon. Yep. Sea of Thieves. Oh, that's that stupid grumble. Mass Effect 3. I love how many like RPG sites are writing all these guides for the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, where it's like Mass Effect 3 best squad for each mission. It's like, oh right, that I thought you were just like mining the back catalog there, but nope, that's current.
Is it messed up that so far this summer the only good games to play are all re-releases of games that are only a few years old?
Yeah, I mean...
well, and even more, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice that a lot of the large releases, like, I don't really want to play the Mass Effect trilogy right now. Like, I'm sure in the next couple of years, I'll be like, yeah, all right, yeah, like, I could play through all three of those games. I've got the time. But that's exciting because now I have more time to play stuff like Griftlands, where it's like I'm gonna check out kind of a smaller release in kind of a subgenre that I really like.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff that I picked up Nocturne, which I'll talk about next week.
Yep.
I've gotten pretty far in that, but it kind of got to a point where it's like, all right, cool, this is just as challenging as I remember it being.
Right.
I'm gonna move on to something else for a moment.
and like I'd really like to play that. But I don't really have... I'm already playing one Persona game, and like going into an SMT game, which is way harder. I wouldn't mind playing that on the Switch, but I'm also playing the Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta right now. So like I already have my like nighttime game that I'm playing, like my laying in bed game. Yeah. Oh, man. Starlit Sydney in chat says, good thing we have Genshin Impact to drain our time and our pockets. They put out that like 1.6 patch, and I was like, I can't. I want to check. I want to check it out, but I can't install it again.
So Sydney is actually someone that I moderate for
nice.
on Twitch.
Hello.
She is an ASMR artist.
And cool.
She also streams video games. And yeah, we have gone way into...
all the way deep on Genshin Impact? Yeah. Man.
She and I have been there since day one.
Yeah. I have put Genshin Impact to the side for a while, and I want to go back and like keep just farting around in the world, but I don't think I can.
That's the thing, is I still play that daily, but it's mostly just like, okay, let me hop in, let me knock out my dailies, and then let me do some exploring or side
do my
missions
free
or whatever.
pull.
Yeah, and then the next thing you know, it's been like an hour or 2 hours. I'm like, oh, man, I really need to do something else.
I wouldn't know anything about that. All right, you guys ready to...
not that I wasted a day playing Destiny trying to do a stupid challenge that was too high for my stupid level.
Yeah.
Stupid exotic.
I wish I had seen that, because I was going to tell you, like, hey, you're not ready to do that yet, because those are super tough. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you got first-hand experience on that. Yeah. All right, are you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 21st, 2021. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance comes out PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X. I believe this is the one they were just showing like last week at E3 with the WWF, WWE, people playing it together with Jeff Keighley. All right. Yes.
Also, you missed GPD&D at the end of this release.
I did not know that. Okay, cool. So that's also coming out. Game Pass, day and date.
I may or may not have pre-installed like 7 games that were all ready for pre-install.
Yeah,
E3.
As soon as I turn on my Xbox, it's like, do you want to preload Forza Horizon 5? And it's like, hell yes.
How about Hades? How about
I was going to say, there was a ton of stuff. It's like preload for August 10th. And I'm like, I'm not going to have this preload sitting on my Xbox for a month before I can touch it.
Yeah, Back for Blood. Dude, Hades, let's do it.
Hades. I 1000% am. Back for Blood was another one that I pre-installed.
Get on in there. Let's do this. Yeah. Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, the official video game, comes out for PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. So if you want to join the cross-coastal Olympic Games...
bring it on. We're playing on the Xbox, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know. Spoiler alert, if I'm involved in something, it's probably on the Xbox.
Chances are good. Yeah. Worms Rumble comes out on the Switch. They showed this off at the Nintendo Direct, which we'll get to here in a minute. In that video, the frame rate looked pretty dodgy, so buyer beware if you have other platforms. Although I think it's free. Downloader beware if you have other stuff you can play that on.
So I have a question.
Sure.
How did Westwood Studios and the guys who originally made Team Hospital Bullfrog?
Yes.
How are all of these companies being bought, died, resurrected, and died again? And Team 17 still exists somehow.
Team 17 has been around for, I think, legitimately 30 years. I think they just celebrated their 30th anniversary. They're like, we started on the Amiga, no big deal. And it's like, yeah, but you're now a publisher. You're not just a developer and Sega's putting your stuff out now.
Founded December 7th, 1990 in Wakefield, the UK. Wakefield is a nothing town.
That's great. I love it. I love that at least one Amiga company is still hanging on. That's great. Keep doing it, Team 17. You make and publish a lot of cool stuff.
Team 17, I'm pretty sure they published the cooking game that everybody loves with the van and you go around cooking giant spaghetti meatball monster.
Overcooked?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they published that game. I just loaded their website and it's like, this site uses cookies. Accept all cookies, accept necessary cookies, so on and so forth. And it's got an overcooked person holding a plate full of cookies.
That's really good. Good job, man. Legend of Mana comes out PC, Switch, and PS4. This is the remaster of this. If you're going to play this, which I highly recommend doing, please at least have a guide for building the world. Unless you're going to play it a couple of times, it's pretty short. It's like a 15-hour thing.
I was going to say, because it was meant to be played multiple times.
Yeah, because you're supposed to, minor spoilers here, you're supposed to figure out that tiles you place on the world map interact with each other in fun ways, very much like the Dark Cloud series. So I think you're supposed to find that out and go oh, okay, so for my next game, I'm going to put this next to that and that next to these and this and that. Yeah, it's cool. That game's cool. Yeah. I like that a lot. Mario Golf Super Rush comes out on the Switch. This still looks really great. This dash from from where you tee off to where the ball lands and fight with each other mode looks pretty great. So good. I hope somebody steals that and puts that on other stuff. Where's the return of Outlaw Golf? That's what we need. That's the only game where that's going to make sense.
I miss dumb modes like this. This is a dumb mode.
Yeah. Bullet Bill shooting down the fairway, fighting other people. That's what I want to see.
It feels like Mario Kart Golf is what it feels like. And that is great.
Yes.
If they could allow you to drive a golf cart while swinging at balls while just going through holes like that, I would pick it up.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Scarlet Nexus comes out PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. Really excited to check this out at some point. I don't think it'll be a day one for me just because of the other stuff I'm playing, but this looks super cool, and it's
Yeah.
anime as hell in 4K, which is great. Check out. We talked about the demo 2 or 3 episodes ago.
No, more than that.
5 to 20 episodes ago.
There was like 2 or 3 weeks I wasn't here, and then we had our E3 episodes.
Right.
So.
We talked about it this year at some point.
Yeah.
Go check the show notes. And lastly here, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 comes out on the Switch. That's
Really
another... Yeah, that's the remaster. Another one of those, like, performance on that might potentially not be great, so beware of that one. All right. News stories. Nintendo had... I'm pretty burnt out from video games after watching E3, so I didn't watch a whole lot of the stuff that came out after the episode. I know that there's some cool games here and there. Apparently, the PC gaming show was actually pretty good this year. Maybe not humor-wise, but maybe game announcement-wise. The one I did watch for sure was Nintendo's Direct that happened this past week. The big Smash Brothers announcement that happened here at the beginning is Tekken's Yakuza Kazuya. Jeez. Tekken's Yakuza. Let's the best crossover. That's coming to Smash. That trailer is really great because he throws like 20 people in a volcano, and that's super good, except for Kirby.
And then Kirby flying in the background.
It's really good. That's great. Life is Strange True Colors and the Remaster Collection is coming out this year. I hope those run well on there because that's a pretty great place to play those games, and I want more people to play them. Also, stop forgetting Life is Strange 2 came out. That was a good game. Is that coming to Switch? Like, that's weird. I don't know what's going on there. The big shocker of the show for me, Metroid Dread finally getting finished after 15 years, and it's coming to Switch in October, and boy, does it look good. Also, a friendly reminder, yes, it is Metroid 5. Super Metroid was Metroid 3. And Metroid Fusion was 4.
Yeah.
So, yes, that was not a joke. This is Metroid 5, and it looks sick.
Yeah. But unfortunately, thanks to scalpers, the special edition and amiibos were sold out the moment they touched the internet. And apparently nobody got anything.
It sucks. Like, this stuff has got, like, retailers sort it out. Like, I don't... Grumble.
Retailers don't care. They sell
I know.
a lot.
That's the problem.
They don't care.
And that's what sucks. But yes, that special edition looks cool. I might get one. I might not. I don't know. Those amiibos would be cool, too. Samus is a cool amiibo. I probably won't get those either. But at the very least, I can get the game when it comes out. I'm super excited for a new 2D Metroid, and Mercury Steam is making it, and all of their games have been really great, and they make great Metroidvanias. So, yes, 100% in. Two thumbs up. A brand new Metroid game. And I was really worried because they're like, yeah, we announced Metroid Prime 4, and like development's going great. And I thought they were going to be like, all right, peace. And they're like, no, here's another Metroid game. It's like, yes, thank you. I don't really care about Metroid Prime 4. I care about a 2D Metroid.
I was going to say, they kind of did that because they basically just called out Metroid Prime 4. Then they had a title screenshot, and then they went back to the people on stage. And I was like, what, that's seriously all we're getting? And then they went into this. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It looks so good. It looks like it's following sort of on the footsteps of Fusion, where it was you're getting hunted by something in that game too. That like SAX, that other Samus. That game was really great. Go play that game if you haven't. I think it's on Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
Fusion, yes, it was.
2 thumbs up. Super pumped. Mario Party Superstars. They're sort of taking a bunch of like the greatest hits of Mario Party boards and mini games and smushing those all together. Those are coming out in October. So if you and your friends want to fight and hate each other, that's coming out. A lot of the boards they showed off is like, yeah, those are kind of the classic ones you want. So like the Space Station one, like they picked the ones that I think you want.
Well, didn't they say they also added a where you can have random people play with you through the internet
Yeah,
now
you can
too?
just do matchmaking too, which
Yeah,
sounds like another layer of
a
hell. Like,
nightmare. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Don't
understand.
worry, you've already got the headset and the dongle for the Splatoon voice chat, so you'll be fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean my cell phone and
yeah, right. My cell phone and a USB cable and a 3.5. Yeah. They also announced a new WarioWare game, WarioWare Get It Together, where you can play it solo or co-op. Between like Metroid, WarioWare, and like some of the other stuff they have, they're like really bringing back a couple of franchises they haven't put out a game for in like 10 years, and it's
I'm
super
so
exciting.
annoyed because I don't have access to a Switch anymore, and
Right.
WarioWare is that?
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? Like they are the. But I don't care. Like, don't get me wrong. Nintendo have always made great games, and but the WarioWare games have always been something truly unique to
Yep.
that Nintendo have made. I
Yeah.
miss the micro games
Yep.
because they're so great. Because they're also so dumb at the same time.
Yep. And this looks exactly like that same level of fantastic stupidity as the other ones, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty pumped.
And like the fact that in the trailer he even says like these idiots are back too for
Right.
some reason.
It's perfect. Like they nailed that they nailed it perfectly. It's so good. Shin Megami Tensei 5, they had a trailer here and a release date of November 12th, which we've sort of known about, but I'm glad we got to know for sure. If you don't know how to play Shin Megami Tensei 3, you should probably watch this video to learn how the press turn system works. They do a pretty good job of explaining it. I think they do a good job of explaining, here is what an SMT game is. Here's how you would play it. It's not as scary as it looks, but it's still going to be hard. Yeah. Fatal Frame Maiden of Dark Water is coming out here on the Switch. I didn't believe this was the one that didn't come out on Wii U here, but I don't remember. Fatal Frame is like a franchise I don't really keep tabs on, as cool of a series as it is. So more Fatal Frame isn't bad. The first two Advance Wars games are coming to Switch, kind of redone and remade, which is cool. Both of those games are great. A lot of people have a lot of feelings about the art style, which is fair, but don't worry about it. Just play those games. They're great.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Don't let the kitty cartoon push you away.
Yeah.
Don't be a hater like with Wind Waker.
That's right. God, Wind Waker's so good. Stupid Zelda nerds. The Danganronpa series is finally coming to Switch. The first 3 games, sort of excluding the shooter one, thankfully, and they. So there was a mini game, like a side game in V3 that was like it's essentially like the board game Life, but you played it as the Danganronpa characters, and like you forge relationships, and like it was more complex than it really should have been for a side thing. It was a cool thing. They're spinning off that into like an entire full-fledged game as part of this collection, which is wild. So you can buy a physical collection. It'll have all 4 games in there. Digitally, you can buy each one of those separate. So go play those games. They're real great. We were just talking about in the Coffee Talk episode about cool visual novels to start with. These would be good ones. These games are great. And then they came out and talking a little bit about Breath of the Wild 2, and I thought this would be a Metroid Prime 4 thing where they're like, yeah, we're working really hard. See you later, bye. But they came out and they had a short Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay trailer, and they are aiming for, it's the important part, a 2022 release window. They're not talking about the subtitle for it now because apparently that will explain some major thing about the game. I don't know what. I am largely tuning this out because as soon as this happened, Zelda nerds are pulling apart every frame of this trailer, and I'm so tired of the internet doing that about anything. So, see you next year. And also, the discourse about breakable weapons has come back, and I don't want to hear it. I will buy and play this game when it comes out. I will probably enjoy it as much as I did the first one, and then move on with my life. But this looks really good. The whole thing seems to be you can explore the surface, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff in the sky that you can explore as well. So, looks cool. Looks like the first one, which looked like a great game. So, can't go wrong. They did another direct that's really great. It's nice to see that this year Microsoft and Nintendo continue to get how you do one of these like trailer showcase videos, and everybody else, Devolver's doing their own art avant-garde thing, so I'm not judging them on those merits. But like everybody else is just still struggling to get the pacing down on this stuff. So good on you, Nintendo, for doing another one. Speaking of Microsoft, next news story here. Microsoft is aiming to use cloud streaming on Xbox One consoles. So part of what they're talking about as they're talking about their sort of E3 suite of games here is that for people that have the previous generation of consoles, which is like a bajillion people at this point, they're specifically talking about Starfield and Redfall, since those are going to be current gen games. They're talking about using the cloud software that's running on mobile devices right now, bringing that to Xbox One consoles to allow you to play these games with ray tracing, potentially in 4K, in better quality through the streaming software, as opposed to saying like, well, tough luck, I guess you gotta go try to find a Series X if you can, LOL. So it's nice to hear them come out, and this is one of those no-brainer things that Microsoft keeps nailing, where it's like, yeah, give away free games, duh. Like, why wouldn't we? Sure. Let's let Xbox One stream better looking versions of these games. Sure, why not? The next thing they need to do is just put out one of those USB sticks, one of those HDMI sticks you plug into your TV that just streams xCloud stuff. Like,
yeah, all they have to do is learn from the mistakes of Stadia and Luna, and
yeah.
They've already started talking about making deals with TV providers to start an Xbox app on TVs.
Great.
So that's great.
Most of these TVs have Bluetooth in them nowadays anyway, so like you can pair your controller to your TV like you used to be able to, and then just play Xbox games. Like, yeah.
And most of them have USB ports in them anyway too, so you can charge your controller through the TV if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft will make its money off of subscriptions, and especially Game Pass. So like the more places they can get that stuff, the more it makes sense. And last news story here, Rare's Everwild appears to have been rebooted. That was a sort of a notable absence at E3 on Microsoft's conference this year. This might have been pushed back to 2024. It seems like the largest problem here seems to be that Rare's upper management has passed down kind of an edict about this game saying, you really need to make this one without combat. And those who are developing the game are sort of saying, yeah, that's really hard. And also we kind of make like family-friendly third-person character action games. So what should we do then? And apparently that has been a kind of a major sticking point and a reason for a reboot here. So interesting. The new creative director appears to be Greg Mails, who has been at Rare for 30 years. So I guess if someone at Rare can try and figure this thing out, maybe it will be him. And hopefully it won't turn into a Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I didn't even realize until someone mentioned it this week was also not at E3, so that thing's probably gone.
What?
Yeah, shock and surprise. Oh my. Yeah, Skull and Bones will come out someday, right? Padme meme, right? But that's our episode for this week. I didn't put any questions in here because I thought the first segment would be really long, and at 2 hours and 16 minutes of recording, I was right. So we'll talk about those questions next week. Thank you, everyone who sent stuff in these last 2 weeks. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, like the Twitter account, the Discord. Come join the Discord. We have the best community on the internet. I say that without any sort of sarcasm or tongue-in-cheek. Our community is incredible. I don't have to moderate anyone. So, like,
the best semi-serious community on the internet.
That's right. We have fun around here. Yeah. So come join the Discord. It's really fun. I don't have like 400 channels or anything like that. That's not how the server is. We just have a handful of channels. It's not super confusing. And patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. I already talked about all the cool stuff you can get. $5 a month is the recommended tier. $2, that'll get you everything. Also have $2 tier, and anything above that, super appreciate it. And that gets us closer to the $250 a month goal, which is me playing scary, spooky games at a reasonable frequency, and just scaring the hell out of myself.
Did you ever play the Dead Space games?
Oh yeah. I never finished 3 because I kind
of 3 was okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit ways into that, and I was sort of like, yeah, maybe I'm not into this one. But boy, 1 and 2 are good.
If you never did, I was going to say 1 is definitely pretty bad.
Yeah, one was full of, that was a lot of like me turning a corner and being like, there's a corpse on the floor, I'm going to shoot it. Okay, that one's dead for real. Yeah, I'm going to shoot it one more time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the one pops up behind you that you didn't see.
Yep, 100%. That game is good.
It's the rule of action horror games: is if something is on the ground, you stomp it, you shoot it.
Yep.
You do whatever you need to do to make sure that thing's dead.
Yep. Yeah, those two.
That was a great game.
Yep. And if you can't financially support us, I totally understand. Best way you can support us, tell a friend, rate us 5 stars everywhere you listen to us, share us on Twitter, share us on Discord, tell some friends.
At TVGP on Twitter, by the way.
That's correct, at TVGP. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, titles.
I am way out of practice.
Can I just share an advertisement that I saw earlier today on the internet, which I forgot to mention in the pre-show?
Sure.
I saw a Dorex advert. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it over here. The makers of prophylactics, and it said, "To everybody who uses our competitors' products, Happy Father's Day."
Great. 2 thumbs up. It's real good. Jimbo Jangles, thank you for the show title suggestion. I just wrote that down. Slime cats. Okay, never.
All right. I have mutated kangaroos. A weeb I have become.
I'm talking like Yoda. I've been involved in Star Wars too much these past 2 weeks.
Yep.
These next 2 are kind of long. Xbox hasn't lied to me.
That's fair.
Love child of Kermit and Miss Piggy. Cross Coastal Games.
Yep.
Get the Steppin'. And Rock Dog.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
What has become of me? Semi-serious Olympians. Too much and I love it. The almighty off button. The robots have swapped, and cross-coastal Olympic Games.
I have I'm Back in the Storm Again, cross-coastal Olympic Games, double the Plorts, slime cats, and semi-serious Olympians. I feel like cross-coastal Olympic Games is probably our winner this week.
Yeah, I like double the Plorts too, though.
Double the Plorts is great, just to say the word Plorts.
Are they actually called Plorts? Am I remembering that correctly?
They are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're called Plorts. Yeah. Hold on.
Because I went to say it out loud, and I'm like, oh god, I don't really remember.
They're definitely not jorts. They're plorts. Slime Rancher poop. Turn safe search on.
What's the products of slimes that they produce when they are fed with food?
Plorts. All right. What do you want then? Cross Coastal Olympic Games or double the Plorts? They're both good.
They're both really good.
I like double the Plorts.
Yeah.
Both of them are going to
Plorts
be kind of
just-
tongue twisters, though.
Plorts
Yeah.
is just a hell of a good word.
All right. I'm good with double the Plorts then. Circling it. Let me know when you guys are ready.
I am ready.
I think that Moon is working over here in his notebook.
Yeah, I was writing down the title and highlighting it, and apparently I didn't put D&D mode on my phone because I just got a notification. So that's fun.
Oh, okay.
Perfect timing.
Got to think of like a good poop joke. Good old Plort joke.
Okay, I got one. I think.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 713 for June 21st, 2021. Double the Plorts.
Invest in your manure exchange.
My daughter may like feeding chickens to slimes a little too much.
Call back. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching us live, hanging out with us, watching the video archive, listening to us, however you do. We super appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.